Hi there, my name is James Daw, and I am making this presentation on the brook trout for FW 373, which is otherwise known as Vertebrate Natural History. So, this is how we classify brook trout. Bear with me, I'm going to butcher some of these names. The kingdom is Animalia, the phylum is Cornata, the subphylum is Vertebrata, the class is Ectinopterygii. The order is Salamiformes. The family is Salamonidae. The genus is Salvelinus, and the species is Frontinalis. So we typically identify brook trout as adults being about 6 to 8 inches long. The dorsal, which is the upper part of the fish, is typically an olive brown color or dark brown color. The ventral, which is the underside of the fish, is typically a reddish orange color. The dorsal fin and the adipose fin are the same color as the dorsal, and the pectoral, the pelvic, the anal, and the caudal fin are the same color as the ventral. There is a yellowish erratic pattern that runs along the dorsal, which is often characterized as being wormy, that turns into these yellowish dots that run along the sides that have these bluish dots with red centers mixed in. And then here's a close-up of those dots. The pectoral, pelvic, anal, and caudal fins have this whitish streak along the edge of their fins. So brook trout are often found in moderately gradient rocky mountain streams like the one shown here that have permanent cool, clean water that doesn't exceed 20 degrees Celsius. Their native range is in the Appalachian Mountains and the Great Lake Basin, the Hudson Bay Basin, the upper parts of the Mississippi drainage. Also northeastern Canada, I skipped one. And finally, the Atlantic coast areas from Maine to New Jersey. Adults typically feed on aquatic and terrestrial insects like mayflies and caddisflies, etc. Crustaceans, primarily being crawfish or crawdads, crayfish or crawdads, however you pronounce it. Small fish like this darter or other juvenile species, or even from their same species, and occasionally small vertebrates like salamanders and frogs. Threats that threaten this species include dynamic changes in streams like floods or droughts, the acidification of park streams from tourism and pollution, predation from non-native species, primarily brown trout. And I didn't mention it in my or write it down in my presentation, but I have heard from other professors as well as wildlife biologists that species like the rainbow trout and the brown trout compete with their food sources and space, and so that is another way that this species is threatened. And these are the two resources that I used for my presentation.